Shalom everyone, and good morning. Boker Tov. It is great to see all of your excited faces, to hear your joy, to know that we are celebrating together as a larger community and celebrating Chanukah, the first of 8 days of Chanukah. And Chanukah, as you know, is a great celebration of the minority having power, standing up to the larger community and saying, we can do it. We can get it done. And we see that all the time in our lives. And we are doing it despite everybody else around us. And you see the Chanukah that we'll be lighting later has the first candle in honor of this very first day. If you look at your watches, and we're going to do a math test here. It's coming up on 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. If you were to advance 7 hours to that, what time would it be? I'm hearing too many answers for an easy math question. Almost 6 o'clock. 1 week from this moment, if everything goes according to clockwork, we'll be leading the next of our Israel confirmation class trips to Israel. And at about this exact moment next week, we should be coming out of customs, heading towards the bus. Now, in the room are a number of kids and parents of former trips. They've had an extraordinary time. They know that this is one of the great milestones of their lives. And we have celebrated Chanukah together in Israel. Well, we have another class going out, combining students from Beth, Tikvah, and Temple Sinai. And as we have continued this great pattern, we know that this coming trip is also going to be exciting. And hard to imagine, but we've already begun the plans for next year's trip. It takes a little over a year to put it all together. So we're excited to be together for that as we're about to say goodbye, or the Yitraot. Also welcoming you all here for Chanukah. For the umpteenth, thousandth year, I've lost track of how many years? 12 years. Next year will be its bar mitzvah, where Brian Baker has been leading our Beth Tikvah band and singing group. The names and the characters change from year to year, especially as our kids leave, grow up, and go to college, as some of our adults mature and ripen. That's better than saying getting moldy.
That's okay, but sure is.
But we're pleased to enjoy this day together. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for our volunteers. Thank you for our maestro for putting it all together. Let's have some fun.
Good morning. I'm honored that Brian asked me to welcome him and introduce the band today in its 12th year at Beth Tikvah. I've been involved in the band and getting this concert together for 12 years. For your benefit, thankfully, it's been on that side of the microphone, not this. So my job is I also did some research because, as you might all know, I'm following up with Meyer Kotkin, who's been doing this for a lot of years, and he's a mathematician by trade. So I started looking at numbers and what we can think about with the number 12. And as we know, there's a lot of numbers that are affiliated with Judaism all the time. So for the number 12, we know there's 12 sons of Jacob, there's 12 tribes. It's also been said that the number 12, being the product of 3 times 4, right kids? 3 times 4 is 12, is the exact, it relates to the relationship between us and God. But speaking of numbers, I've calculated my own, because see, my job with the band has really been that as a roadie. So I help Brian set the room up, get the chairs out, things like that. So I've calculated that we've now put out, I think the exact number is 1,996 chairs, 1,996 programs. Let's see, what else have we had? Oh yeah, and we've listened to, I think, 2,346 verses of I Am a Latka. Now, not that we don't enjoy it even when it's not Hanukkah, but it's a lot of verses. So, as I said, part of my job is being that of a roadie. And what that also means is that last night, Stephanie and I were here listening to Brian when he kind of played the part of an ophthalmologist and said, how's this lens? Better? Sound better than this? Which one's better? Which one's worse? See, the idea is Brian works really, really hard at making this a perfect concert for all of us. And I want to make sure everybody appreciates what we've got here. Brian, as you may know, is a graduate of the prestigious Berklee School of Music. And he works real hard all year to not just write music. You'll see the first song being played is written by Brian Baker. But he also arranges all the music, and he does it in a way to make sure he showcases the unique talents of all the people in the band and in the chorus. So I want to make sure everybody is aware of how that has been done. He's trying to make things perfect, and I think that's the point. We've been blessed to have all this. We really have, because a little synagogue like ours to put on a show like this, I think is pretty spectacular. I think we should all acknowledge that. But I would be remiss if I let you believe it's all about Brian. Mostly, but we won't say it all. The show wouldn't go on without the stalwarts in our chorus. Roseanne and Hal and Gretchen have been here for many years. We're trying to figure it out. In addition to that, the older generation of our band, Jan, David, been around for a lot of years. They do a great job, very, very talented, as well as our younger members. If I can get them right, I got Seth and Michael and Sam and David over on the drums. Give them a round of applause. So finally, I started with the number 12. Let me tell you a little bit more about the number 12. Number 12 is known in mathematical circles as a semi-perfect number. And I think that's awfully fitting for today's concert. You see, for those of you out there and me sitting in the audience, we're going to think this concert's pretty perfect. Brian's going to come back tomorrow, and he's going to watch the video, and he's going to say, well, if only mic 1 had been a little louder. To him, it's not quite perfect. Therefore, we're going to have a semi-perfect concert. With that, let's hear Brian Baker and the band.